Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Okay.
What I have is this monster slab door on a real nice Fitzgerald pivot hinge, and the person that was on the install got kicked off it and sent back to the framing crew. So you can imagine what I'm dealing with. So had the wrong mortise lock set for it. It's more like a rim lock where it's got to engage the electric strike, and that's all in the video. But trying to find the correct parts for this, and what we have is electric strike that we want to put in, but the unusual part about this is the depth of the jamb. The door swings in, and we clad the face of the door with some other lumber as well as the sides of it. So we've got this really thick door, really deep jamb, and swinging in, we're trying to find the right mortise lock and electric strike for it. And it's all there in the video. The mortise lock that we have, it's a Schlage. The idiot super was thinking they could do what they did on a different similar door where there's actually a Baldwin handle that they Frankensteined onto the Schlage, which is, I mean, as long as the threads fit, it should work. But anyhow, trying to find all the right parts for this, and wonder if you could have a look at that video and see if we can't mate that up. So my email is luckyfishla. I know you get like hundreds of emails every day.
Oh, no, don't, hold on. I've got the video. Just bear with me.
Great.
Just
okay.
Bear with me. Okay. Bear with me. I'm reviewing this.
Okay. No worries.
Okay, you've got a center hung door, and
you see how it flushes out in the closed position, right? And there's audio on that.
Yeah. Let's take a look. It's a pretty thick door.
Oh yeah, that thing's a monster. Those were a bear. It's a composite core with a real thin veneer. And
yeah, I see.
I don't know why.
Okay, so how are you so what's electrified? The mortise the electric strike. Okay.
The strike, yeah.
So what's the problem? I mean, this looks like it's garden variety material.
Yeah. So what's going on here is I'm looking at the Schlage lock and realizing that those plungers are going to scrape and grind along that jamb before it even gets close to the electric strike.
Who supplied the hardware?
Not sure. Actually, that Schlage is from 3 years ago on a different, almost exact entry door. But in the one from 3 years ago, it's a true rim lock. It's the edge of that electric strike. I don't know if it's actually called a rim lock terminology-wise, but the magnetic strike was just at the edge of the jamb. So that's the first thing that the plungers on that lock engaged was the electric strike, where in our case, it's got to ride across that jamb before it even hits that strike. And they were saying, oh, we could just put a plate there. And I'm like, God, that's going to look like hammered crap. This is a $10+ million house. So,
yeah. So, so So that is an option, some sort of, dress plate or scar plate, number one. Number two, what people will do is they will route the face of the jamb back a half of an inch or 5/8, approaching the electric strike so that when the door goes to close, the latch bolt is out, it's projected completely. But when you route that part of the jamb so that it doesn't scrape along that, would be another way that I've seen it done. Number three, option three, replace the Fitzgergans with a electric transfer version of the Fitzgergans, if they make such a thing, that you can get wiring down to the lock and replace it with an electric latch or electric lock rather than electrify the strike.
So you come in through the pivot hinge and then get it over to the lock itself and electrify the plungers on the lock?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
that sounds like some... Yeah. So you got to just make a chase to get the wire over to the lock, right? From the pivot.
Yeah, definitely.
Hinge. That's a bear. Jeez. How do you... Real long drill bit at the bottom.
Well, it's funny you say that because the answer we're looking for on the test is really long drill bit. So that's exactly what it is.
Exactly
So it's as just straightforward as you think. Now, actually, having said that, they make a tool for drilling those really straight. That's a completely different conversation.
Wow. Well, good to know.
Alternative.
I come up on it.
Alternative. So what's that jamb? As I've got the video running here, the most elegant thing to do would be to simply mortise the jamb so that, your latch can approach that. If you've got, and I'm looking at it, it looks like it's solid. I've got the video literally stopped at the 18-second mark.
Eight quarter walnut, so we got plenty.
Oh, it's beautiful. Daryl, it's done. That's all you need.
Okay.
Put a template on there, get your plunge router, and route that back. Give your latch bolt a free area of approach, then chisel, mortise your electric strike right to that jamb, and I think it's going to be super slick.
Okay, cool. That's it. All right. I'll let everybody know.
Cool. Call anytime.
So
Thank you very much.
So that Schlegel worked there, right?
Well, I only saw the lock body that you had in your hand. Will it work? How thick is the door for sure?
3 1/4.
Okay, so you're going to need extra parts. You're going to need longer screws, longer spindles, longer cylinder, longer thumb turn. You'll need parts for all of that.
I'm going to make sure that all that is factored in before I start hogging out thousands of dollars worth of somebody's work.
Yes, sir.
That depth that we do have parts that we don't have to go to a machine shop and have them make parts.
You
is
don't
there
need
standard
to do,
extensions? Yeah, go ahead.
You don't need to do any of that. I can supply you with everything I just said. I mean,
awesome.
So I would need to know the lock that you're starting with. Like if you had the box it came out of, that would be great. But I can, I need to know the box it came out of. I need to know the firm thickness. I need to know where in the thickness of the door you're going to place the lock body. Are you centering it or are you setting it unequal so that I can make sure the factory gets all the right parts? But it's longer cylinder, longer spindles, longer screws, longer thumb turn possibly. And it's easy stuff. We do it all the time.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, I'll get all that info to you and maybe sometime next few hours we can figure that out.
Thank you, sir.
Cool. Thanks, Rich. Have a good day.
Bye.
And it's a Fitzgergan, I'm pretty sure. And then there's a top mounted ball catch because the door that you were looking at, the Santa Monica house with that Schlegel lock we were trying to make work, I think there's another guy on the project that's thinking maybe a different direction might be the way to go. Now, also, in the video, there's a different lock mechanism with the keypad, and I'm still under the assumption that regardless of what we do electronically, we still need a mechanical means of opening the door if the power's out. So I'm still envisioning some kind of latch. And so that's my assumption. I've got somebody else going, no, let's do this, and they're not even thinking about the mechanical latch. And I'd kind of like this to pass inspection and get a certificate of occupancy.
To get paid?
And get paid.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't have a video. Don't have an email yet from you on a video. So
should be there pretty soon. I just sent it a little while ago. But I'm still thinking that ball catch on top is not going to do 100% of what we're trying to get this to do. It's just one more part to struggle trying to mount. I'm thinking the way we were looking at it seemed to make the most sense with that Schlage mortise lock and just, hog out some material on the jam sides. That seemed like one way. I guess there was another conversation where they were kind of rethinking that, like maybe they don't want to do that. So I'm unclear at this point. I'm just like giving them options and suggesting they frickin' pick one so we can get this done. So my last, I thought that somebody was going to call you and order the extension kit so that we can get that Schlage in there and have a mechanical latch on the inside. Obviously, he didn't do that, so we're either going to order that, so that extension kit, I can go grab the box and read you the part number, so at least that's a known. And then whenever you get that video and look at it, give me your opinion on that setup, if we can make that work on this door. Again, this one has a 7-inch deep jam, and it swings in. There's no stop on the strike side on the jam there. So there's a big gap, like breezes and bugs are just going to come right on into this $14 million house. The only solution I have is a metal piece down the full length on the jam side, just a flush-mounted astragal that I would make out of bar stock. We'll get that juried, see if anybody likes that idea. I can't believe I heard the GC even suggest this, but he said that there's glue-on weather stripping that we could put on the strike side, and I just shook my head and walked away because I'm like, what? I don't know what he's thinking, but anything glued or nailed on to the jam of this thing, it's just like, duct taping a marble arm back on a grease statue.
Yeah, a priceless bust. So I'm watching this video, and what you need to do is somehow gasket the meeting style of that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So gasket that meeting style. It's like, hell no. It's all gonna look just like a bad afterthought. I'm thinking at least if I do a metal astragal on the front or wood one, it just disrupts the whole clean look of this whole piece. It looks great until it's like, there's a big freaking gap here. What do we do about that? If I did the astragal,
you've got gaps everywhere though. Well, wait, do you have a rabbit edge on the door? No, okay.
We do. So on the pivot side, yeah. There's a little cushion, the little bubble Pemco thing. So we've got a little bit of gasketing and a stop on the strike side, but nothing on the hinge side. On the strike side, we got nothing. Nor do we have anything top or bottom. So, I don't know what they want to do. I mean, if we were in tropical area, it'd be like mosquitoes for days, but not as much the case here. Maybe they're just not concerned because these are, 10-foot high Fleetwoods. Like, I guess the doors are going to be open all the time. There's no screens, so maybe I'm overthinking it. But
whoever hung all these doors and panels, the transom panels, I mean, high five to that person because the margins look gorgeous. Well, pretty damn gorgeous. The thing is going to be as watertight as the Titanic after the iceberg. So I don't really know that there's much. I mean, We can't.
Oh, sorry. Let me clarify something. That was an example of a different job. The video that I sent you last week with the Sapele clad door.
Yeah.
That's the one we're addressing. The one I just sent you was an alternate idea with the ball catch on the strike side.
The electric bolt that's up there.
Yeah.
So, well, with that wood door, if it was me, I would be routing the two vertical sides on the header, and I would install pile that's been slid into an aluminum extrusion. That I would mortise the door for that. I would mortise it so that I could incorporate longer screws and then springs so I could tailor the projection of that concealed weather stripping, and I would do it all on the edge, and I wouldn't see any of it.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's like a magnetic one that Pemco makes. It's usually a door bottom, though. Is that similar to what we're talking about here? If we let
the concept is similar. It's just this would be pile,
pile. P is in Paul. PILE.
Yeah.
Or TILE.
Mohair, horsehair, little tiny little pile.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, fuzzy organic material of some sort. Yeah, like felt or whatever. Oh, okay. Yeah. So like the brush stuff. Do you have a part number for that? Because that seems like a cool way to go on that. Because slapping a piece of metal on the front would solve it, but it's God, that's just so afterthought, you know. It ain't slick.
You're doing high end here. That's you're going to have German carb finish. Yeah, you're going to have people that can do the work elegantly. So I've replied to your email with a link to the idea that I'm thinking of. And I like it because it's concealed. You don't see it. You can tailor the projection over time. You can slide the pile out in 5 years when it's fatigued and it's no longer really effective. Replace it.
Nice.
You know, it's not that expensive. You just got to have somebody who knows their way around a router.
Nice. And that could be done on the header as well as the style.
You can do it on all four sides, but I would prefer something different in the bottom because it's pile. You know, you're going to want, you could do the same concept with something concealed down there in terms of it being an automatic door bottom, but you get trouble. I forget that Sapele face door. Is that on butts or on pivots?
It's on a pivot.
Oh, it's on a Fitzgerald. Okay, so you're not going to. You're going to have to. What about the? Is there a threshold installed there?
No. It's flush from the hardscape walking up to the door. It's flush with the wood floor inside.
And so what you could probably do is mortise something into the bottom, mortise the same idea into the bottom of the door. Just get in front of the Fitzgerald and run it all the way across because that door was 3 1/4 thick. Yeah.
With the Sapele, it's 3 1/4.
You know what though? I'm not that familiar with the Fitzgerald to know if that takes up all the room down there. I don't know if you've got any room to run something.
Yeah, I can't really look down there. I can. Yeah, gosh. Good question. I'm assuming there may not be much room for it. Gosh, I'm looking at this, and actually the tile's higher than the floor on the inside. That's not good. I hope they have fall here. Jesus. So I get the pile concept. That's going to go on the door or on the jamb?
You can put it on either, but normally you'd see that on the door itself.
Got it. Okay. Great. So normally on the door, that's going to be trickier to route in than on the jamb. But, if we dismount the thing and got it on a nice work table, that would make it easier than trying to do it in place. That's always challenging. Neat. Well, I get the concept. I'll understand it better when I see it, and then I'll jury this, and we'll get back to you to figure out what we're going to do. At this point, I'm not clear if we want to do that Schlage mortise block. I think that was the direction we were that made the most sense. But with this other hardware that, in that video I just sent you, that system, do you think that could work for the wood door?
It certainly can. The issue with that is you've got kind of a code problem in the sense that how are you getting that electric deadbolt retracted so I can exit? How will I exit in an emergency? What will happen in a power outage?
Right.
So there's things to think about there. If you've got an emergency.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking you're. Mm-hmm.
They could throw an infrared sensor on the egress side, but what if the sensor fails and now the door doesn't unlock? It's a gorgeous concept, but I need to be able to get out, even in a residential application.
Yeah. I think that's going to drive the choice of what we end up with. I think we're going to end up back with that Schlage. In the meantime, I hope my phone doesn't cut out. I'm going to see if I can locate that part, that box. You know what? If you can't hear me, should I just call you back in 10 when I find the thing? Let me call you back. I'll get the part number for that Schlage. And then what we were talking about was an extension kit so we can have a latch on the interior side. I think that's where we were going with it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I will, I'm literally, because I'm back east, I'm walking out in like one side. As soon as we hang up, I have to get up and leave because I'm someone's ride home. I will send you an email. I'll reply again to that email, and I'll let you know the two things that I need to know, which is going to be door thickness and where in the door thickness you're going to place the lock set so I know how long everything has to be.
Got it. And then this afternoon I'll hit you back with the part number, and then maybe by tomorrow morning we'll have something in a box or at least ordered.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks, Rich. Have a great afternoon.
You too, sir.
Bye
Bye-bye.
now.
I'm getting up, Terry.
Follow up in regards to that video we were looking at as you were leaving yesterday.
Yes, sir.
So that bullet catch, is that, we're hoping that that'll work in lieu of putting an astragal on the front of that big monolithic thing. Would that spring catch be an adequate stop for that? But see, the guys that are doing all the alarm stuff, we need to coordinate with them keypad-wise, whatever we're doing on that door. But basically wanted to talk to you about that bullet catch and see. I'm assuming that the alarm guys are going to spec out a lock, but I'm hoping that it's something that's going to work on this. I'm trying to coordinate everybody, and we're all on the same page with the right components. Apparently that Schlage that we were looking at a week ago was damaged from a project 3 years ago, so I don't even know why the guy took it out of a box to even suggest using it. He was telling me, oh, put this bad boy on there, and then later said, oh, yeah, that one had issues. Like, why would he even give me that? So uncertain as to the lock set and how that's going to engage. I know that they want to have an electronic one of some sort, and I know that we're going to need a latch on the inside. So for right now, while I got you, I wanted to concentrate on that bullet catch and figure out if that's going to be the way to act as our stop.
So you've got that large mahogany door, and you want a means by which to secure it. Okay, so that lock that's in that big steel door assembly, that's an electric deadbolt, and you can certainly use that to secure the door. My concern, it won't act as a stop at all. You'd have to have some auxiliary stop for the door to stop against, and then when the door's in the closed position, the lock will be notified of the door's position and then will relock. So that will work if you've got a stop. The issue I had mentioned yesterday is how to get out. so you need some hardware to retract, to open the circuit to the electric deadbolt. And, you can do that with a presence sensor. You can do that with a push button. You can do that with, remember the old days of walking into a grocery store and you walk on the mat? Anything will open the circuit. The problem is none of this is really code compliant. So,
right.
if the switch were to fail and you can't open the circuit, you're locked in.
Yeah.
Now, the door swings in anyway, but in a commercial setting, there would be a motion sensor or, something on the door like a request to exit switch. But there's also always going to be a push button that is wired directly to the power supply that you can always open that circuit. So it's more of a question of how to build it elegantly so that it's safe and it actually works the way they want it to work.
Mm-hmm.
The people with that big hollow metal door in the electric deadbolt, how do they get out now?
Good question. I'll have to ask Jesse. He's the guy that showed me that. I'm sure they have one of the things you mentioned, either a push button or a motion sensor. They had to have had because it's in LA. I mean, they wouldn't have passed it. So as far as the stop, that bullet catch up on the top, what do you think about that on that steel door?
Well, the only thing I saw up there was just the electric deadbolt. Is there something else up there?
Oh, is that the deadbolt itself? Well, whatever that was on the top, that's what we're thinking might work for our stop, but that's just a deadbolt.
Yeah,
you still need to stop.
Yeah, you'd still need to stop, yeah. Looking at that video again, actually I have it up. I walked out last night. I didn't close any tabs or anything. So pushing it open. Is that a Sugatsuni pole that's on there? It looks like it's Sugatsuni. Yeah, I don't see a stop that's there at all on that. And I'm wondering. Okay. Yeah, I don't see what appears to me is that there appears to be some sort of the transom panel above the door appears to have that steel sheet coming down long, and the door must have a small rabbet in it based on how it was welded together to make it emulate a rabbeted edge is what it looks like to me. So very cool, very elegant, and that works. So, but yeah, you'll need some sort of stop on your mahogany door.
Yeah, kind of late to try and do that now.
Or late to do it elegantly, yeah.
Yeah, but that is a slick setup how they got that. Gosh. Wow, there's so much missing here. Like, I wish we had the alarm guys and then the superintendent all in on this conversation so we could cross-reference and approach it all with the same outcome in mind. All right, well, what you're telling me now, I'll relay back to them. I was under the impression that was a bullet catch, as well as the guy that gave me the video in the first place, Jesse. He's the superintendent on this project. So he was telling me that was a bullet catch. That's an electric deadbolt.
So when you look up there and you see that big giant marble, it sure looks like a bullet catch.
Yeah.
What that actually is the door position switch. When that bullet gets pushed up by the door, when the door's in the closed position, it then says, hey, Mr. Deadbolt, why don't you go ahead and drop down now and secure the door? So all that thing is a door position switch.
Okay. So is this, it's like a flush bolt setup, but it's electronic, basically.
I would go with that, yeah.
Okay, because I'm assuming that the bolt is in the floor. I didn't see anything on the stile. Just the keypad, or am I missing something there?
Well, the strike would be on the top of the door.
Right. Okay, so that is a strike, what we're looking at on top there.
Well, what you're seeing is the face of the electric deadbolt. The little piece of aluminum or stainless would be attached to the top of the door that the bolt goes into.
Right. Okay. Let's see if it's on this video. Okay, here we go. Let me play this real quick. All right. So, okay, there's the keypad. Okay, so that is a position sensor up top, as well as the electric deadbolt. Now, I'm wondering if there's a flush bolt going over towards the strike side. Looking for it. No, don't see anything in the floor. It's got to all be up top. And that's just a Sugatsuni pull.
Yeah,
so the whole business
those pulls are held in with adhesive, as far as I understand.
Wow, I know. I've used VHB tape. That's some strong stuff, but
yeah.
I don't know about yanking on it. I wouldn't hang upside down.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it in a school.
No. It's good stuff though. I've done some structural stuff with the VHB tape that's like, oh my God, it hasn't moved. Not a structural thing, but more of, there's a clean way to adhere something, little trim pieces and whatnot. Okay, so that's an electric deadbolt up top there. All right. And that's a whole other process, and yeah, that's going to be real hard to do in place. All right. Well, what I'm going to do at this...
getting the power there is going to be the problem. That's where that's going to go wrong.
Yeah. That's all right. It seems like we might be back to where we were originally with some sort of mortise lock set. Gosh, now I'm kind of lost here. I thought that Schlage mortise lock was going to be what we were using. Apparently that's not the case. What we're looking at in this video is going to be challenging as well. We do need this electrified somehow, so we can buzz people in, coordinate that with the gate. You've seen as much of this as I have. I think you got a real good grasp of what we're dealing with. We like the mohair let into the door for the weather stripping. What would you suggest as far as electronic deadbolt with a thumb latch on the inside that's going to make all this work? We'll still have to figure out the stop, but which direction would you suggest that I go to get a locking mechanism that's going to be able to be unlatched from the inside?
So, looking at your mahogany video, I think it would be easiest to put something into the panel, the side panel, because you've got power there, and you won't have to worry about running wires through a Fitzgerald's top pivot somehow, which I've never tried. I would very likely simply install that same electric deadbolt, and duplicate what was done on the other job with the steel panels. It'll work. You don't have to put it in the header. Put it right in the jamb where a normal strike would go.
Got it.
That will serve.
Okay, so the throw is coming from the jamb side instead of the door.
Yeah, absolutely. It could go either way, but stick it in the header or the jamb.
Slick, I like it. Yeah, shit. Let's just do that. Okay. Have you got a part number or a make of something that we can suggest? I have a tendency to hang up a little too soon, going, we'll use one of those, and then not have a part number.
Yeah. No, I'll
like
send it to you.
Ready to order something. Great. Okay.
Yeah. SDC has got this material. They're out in California. I use them all the time. They're some of the best in the business with electrical support for low voltage. So I'll send you over a link to the cut sheet.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And then the stop, we'll just have to figure that one out. I don't want to do an astragal. Hopefully we'll come up with something.
So scrubbing through the rest of the video, I can't really see the top of the door very well, but maybe applying a piece of, well, the problem that you have is you've got a center hung door. So maybe you're going to need to have some sort of an angle stop somewhere. And I just don't see where to elegantly put it. The door swings in. You could.
God, I almost got to make an astragal that's going to click with whatever we use for a pull. That just, gosh. If you got to look at something that's got to match, you know.
Yeah. So
we're disrupting that monolith. I think 2 vertical lines, as long as they harmonize, the pull and the astragal, I think that could look really cool.
I think it could, or you create a bunch of short little pieces, so your horizontal lines aren't interrupted.
Yeah. Well, we're going to interrupt those horizontal lines with the pull for sure. I just think aesthetically, if we make an astragal that has the matching finish, that's going to knock it out of the park. Or
what you could do is add a 1/2 by 1/2 or a 3/4 by 3/4 piece of mahogany lumber. Attach it to the edge of the door on the inside, and then rabbet the jamb so that it's basically rabbeted there. And you wouldn't see anything from the outside.
But you'd see that applied on the surface on the inside. So it's just reversing the astragal, basically, right? But letting it into the jamb side.
Yes, but you wouldn't surface mount it. I would finish nail it directly to the edge of the door so that it's flush. So that you're going to interrupt it on the inside is the bottom line. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's like you would see like a little notch out if it's mounted to the edge of the door. You're notching out into the jamb. You're rabbeting out so that it's going to receive that piece that's mounted on the edge of the door, not the interior face of the door.
Precisely.
Gotcha. Okay, that's in one big long piece. Well, you couldn't really do that. You'd have to have maybe do it in one spot or 2 spots. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I think just for simplicity and just straightforward, land that sucker on there might be the astragal if I can mate it with a pull. But I like your idea too. That could work. It's just a whole lot more router work and on already finished stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And there's, it's easier said than done.
Nightmare. Yeah. I'm liking that astragal way better right now. I can just walk up to it. Boom, done. Put it on there. All right. Hopefully I can sell that. All right. I think that's what I'm going to do. So cool. Yeah, shoot me the part for that strike and the electric deadbolt, and I think we're on to it.
Very good. Give me about 5 minutes.
Appreciate your time. All right. Appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
All right. You have a great rest of your day, and I'll look for that. And that we can order that out here. That's not through you guys, right?
Well, you would order it through me, and I would just have STC drop ship it to you.
Oh, gotcha. That's what you mean. Okay, cool. Excellent. Well, thanks, Rich. You have a great day.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.